while you're on the road, is there a on site? Do they have a cell phone that they provide you, or do they have a hotel, or is there something that they provide you for contact, or mail, or a PO box? Or okay, you say you work for on-site welding?
I think it's just called on-site construction. Maybe I don't know. I only worked with them 3 or 4 weeks, maybe.
You have a way of know the phone number off the top of your head?
I got it with my cell phone, but I don't even have the main guy's number. I just got a guy that's my foreman. I have his number.
Is your cell phone on you?
No, so it's in the truck.
Welcome to Off the Wall Crimes, Lost Souls Edition. Hit the subscribe button and bell to be notified for more off-the-wall crime stories.
The city of Tallahassee in Florida was left petrified when authorities discovered Brandi Peters and her 3 children brutally murdered in their Saddle Creek Run home. The crime of unimaginable brutality left even the most hardened of police officials quite shaken as the community struggled to accept why anyone would hurt a loving mother and 3 innocent children. Brandi Peters was a loving mother of 3 who was quite close to her loved ones. Her children, 6-year-old twins, Tamia and Tania Peters, as well as 3-year-old Javante Segura, were the apple of her eye, and she was ready to put their needs and wants before everything else. Described as someone kind-hearted, generous, and lively, Brandi was adored by her community and is missed to this very day. James Santos says he knows all about the murder because he ordered the murders. Santos says he had a team kill Peters and her children after she stole almost $100,000 from him. Brandi Peters was found beaten and shot multiple times. 2 of her children drowned. The man accused of killing his mistress, their son and her daughters took the stand on Wednesday. Things got pretty heated as Henry Segura testified.
I got caught cheating a lot. I've had a couple of kids outside of my marriage. It made our marriage go up and down a whole lot. I made a bunch of promises that I wouldn't cheat anymore. Once our son, Jalik, died, I made a promise to her that I wouldn't cheat on her anymore, and I tried to.
The state claims Segura killed Peters and her children because he owed $20,000 in child support. In his defense, Segura said he put himself on child support. During his testimony, prosecutors also questioned why Segura wasn't emotional when he learned of the murders. Segura responded that it's just not his nature to show emotion. Prosecutors also questioned his behavior during his police interview. The process, for one, I felt like I was being cornered. I don't feel like they were there questioning me about, I don't think they were there getting my assistance or helping. I feel like they were pointing a finger at me, said Segura. The state has rested its case. The defense is expected to call the man who actually confessed to their murders to testify. Although an investigation of the murder scene proved that Brandi had struggled with her attacker and fought for her life, there was no sign of forced entry, thus hinting at a personal attack. While looking through Brandi's acquaintances, it did not take long for officers to come across Henry Segura, a married man who was involved in an extramarital relationship with the victim. In fact, Brandi shared her son, Javante Segura, with Henry. However, he refused to have anything to do with Javante, and although he was ascertained to be his father, Henry had frequent altercations with Brandi as she tried to get the child support she was owed. According to the news, in the days leading up to the murder, Henry had received multiple letters to get him enrolled in the child support system and owed Brandi almost $20,000. Still, when authorities questioned him initially, he claimed that he was elsewhere and not involved in the murder. Nevertheless, the unpaid child support provided a strong motive for murder, and thus,
You know the phone number off the top of your head?
I got it with my cell phone, but I don't even have the main guy's number. I just got a guy that's my foreman. I have his number.
Is your cell phone on you?
on the other hand, the show mentions that Brandi's blood was too strong to allow the extraction of foreign DNA from the crime scene. However, upon testing the samples gathered, the forensic lab was unable to rule out Henry's involvement in the murder. Moreover, a DNA sample was also recovered from the bathtub, which turned out to be a partial match to Henry. Hence, armed with enough incriminating evidence, the police confronted Henry a second time. This time, he admitted that he had lied about not meeting Brandi on the day of her murder as he was scared of his wife finding out about his affair. Regardless, he still insisted on his innocence and claimed that he left the house before the murders. Thus, as Henry confessed to being present at the crime scene and the police had enough forensic evidence to connect him to the slaying, they arrested him and charged him with murder. One of Brandi's neighbors called her up on November 20th, 2010, but was left concerned when the mother of three did not pick up the phone. Hence, the neighbor requested a welfare check, and once police entered the house, they claimed the scene felt like something right out of a horror movie. There were blood splatters all over, and it looked like someone went on an enraged, frenzied murder spree. While Brandi and Tamia were shot to death, Tania and Javante were drowned. However, the bodies of all three kids were found in a bathtub while their mother lay nearby. Later, an autopsy even determined that Brandi was struck with a heavy, blunt object on her head, resulting in a skull fracture. The tragic case of Brandi Peters and her three children revolves around a horrifying massacre that occurred in Tallahassee, Florida. The primary suspect in this brutal crime is Henry Segura. The victims in this case include Brandi Peters, a 27-year-old woman, her 6-year-old daughter Tamia Peters, and her 3-year-old twins, Javante Segura and his unidentified twin brother. The murders took place on November 20th, 2010, leaving a community in shock and mourning the loss of 4 innocent lives. The crime scene was a scene of unspeakable horror, with all 4 victims having been brutally shot multiple times within their own home on Saddle Creek Run in Tallahassee. The nature of the crime shocked the local community and drew nationwide attention due to its brutality and the age of the victims involved. Henry Segura quickly became the prime suspect in the case. He had a complex history with Brandi Peters, which included disputes over child support and allegations of domestic violence. This troubled history, along with the fact that Javante Segura was his biological child with Brandi Peters, placed him squarely in the spotlight of the investigation. During the course of the investigation, it was revealed that the murders had been committed using a .32 caliber firearm. This crucial piece of evidence further solidified the case against Henry Segura. His arrest and subsequent charges for the murders of Brandi Peters and her 3 children marked a significant turning point in the case. The legal proceedings surrounding this case have been complex and contentious. Henry Segura faced multiple trials. His first trial in 2015 ended in a mistrial. However, in his second trial in 2017, he was found guilty and subsequently sentenced to death. Despite this conviction, the case remained riddled with controversy. The controversy surrounding the Brandi Peters and her 3 children massacre stems from concerns about the investigation and evidence. Allegations of law enforcement misconduct and the possibility of overlooked evidence have fueled debates about Henry Segura's guilt or innocence. In 2020, his conviction was overturned, leading to the granting of a new trial.
Thanks for watching Off the Wall Crimes, Lost Souls Edition. I will see you in the next video.